welcome all. And sure, we'll call ourselves Hydral. Alright, well, first things first, I better shut down that music a little bit. And let's see here, music goes 25 maybe? We'll put voice volume down maybe to 50. Alright, so this is a game called Last Federation. And just to throw it out there immediately, this is a game that someone gave me to do basically a showcase review of, so bear that in mind. This is like, you know, not something I bought, but something that is given to me. So basically this is by Arcane Games, and they've made a few sort of out-of-the-box games. And this is another one of the out-of-the-box games, and it's like a 4X game that, well, how can I put it? It's basically sort of like a passive 4X game where you don't have direct control over stuff, you sort of like just influence it. So, yeah. We'll do a quick start because I don't know much about, you know, the game itself. I'll put the difficulty to easy, the combat difficulty to easy. And sure, I'll put the Federation formation there. Alright, so I'm the last of the murdered race of Hydrals. We took to the stars and shot down the manned launches of everyone else. My countrymen were dictators of the solar system, so we kind of had it coming. Yes, that's me above, and you are me. This is our story. I was the sole survivor of a surprise attack by two other races thanks to a renegade mission I undertook, betraying the other Hydrals to bring spacefaring technology to our potential rivals. Turns out, when you strap rockets to a moon, you can catch even the dictators off guard. My ultimate goal, the creation of a peaceful unified Federation planets. Only then can we be safe from the kinds of atrocities my race committed, and the kinds that were committed against us. Naturally, upon my crash landing on this planet, I was placed in captivity. Having no concept of my strength, they did not realize that I was merely waiting. I waited for years. Stardate, first 1 Proto 3000. My dream as the Universal Federation is alive as ever, and now the Acutians have finally gotten themselves into orbit. After spending so much time with me as a peaceful captive, they were ill-prepared for my escape. I have commandeered the first prototype executor, and now the Acutians are in hot pursuit. The Acutians are still in the process of ramping up their space industry, so that gives me a short window of opportunity. But soon their mechanical CEOs will be looking to make planetary acquisitions. These dangerous, immoral robots destroyed the last remnants of my race, after the DFuxa almost wiped us out. Having them as my enemy was a given, I think. Here they come. I outclass this force so severely that it will be almost impossible to lose, so now is a good time to put out my ship to their paces. But I still have to be careful. If they manage to take out my ship, I will be as dead as now as later. Alright, so basically, this is like a really interesting sort of 4X game, so welcome to combat. It's always your lonely flagship plus whatever NPC allies you can muster, versus an indeterminate number of foes. Combat is turn-based with everyone moving and acting at the same time, after you've given your ship orders. Your first order of business is to give your ship a movement order. To figure out where the enemy is, you'll want to use the mini-map, upper right-hand corner, pan you around WASD or arrow keys, and zoom in and out, mouse wheel, blah blah blah. So, the enemies are of course up here. Alright, so basically how this like game works, it's sort of like a 4X game where you essentially like, you know, have like these like sort of combat phases, and then like you have like this sort of grand scheme type of thing after. And it like sort of keeps rotating like that. And how it sort of works, you have the ability to basically move like your ship around like in these combats and like fight them. And let's read the thing down here. First encounter, Your newly stolen flagship has not yet won any friends among this race. You can defeat their flagships to get away, kill other ships insofar as they threaten you, but you also have the choice to dock with their survey platform to resolve this particular combat peacefully. So I want to try and resolve this peacefully, but we'll just try and blow these guys up. Alright, so let's start doing this. So now's the time to attack. I promise I won't bug you constantly, but in this first battle, there's a few things to point out. Look at the bottom of the screen, you'll have some new options. First of all, there's 3 different weapon choices down there, and there are multiple attack modes, too. Hold fire, auto fire, and select targets, etc. Choosing the right weapon and the best attack mode is a big part of winning battles. Hover over enemy ships to see what weapons they have the highest DPS, damage per second against them. Bear in mind that sometimes this can be misleading, such as with a Fred spread shot, because it's assuming that all the barrels hit fire per burst will make contact. That may or may not be actually true, depending on how close you are to a target, or if you're firing into a dense cluster of targets, etc. This battle is dead simple, but the future ones will not be, so use this time to get comfortable dominating these little foes. Important! You're currently in auto fire mode. Unless you change this, then your ship will always pick its own target to fire at. Best ones based on your selected weapon, regardless of where you effect. Clicking just concerns your orders. If you want to attack a specific ship, switch to select target modes. It's one of the buttons in the top bottom left. So basically, I have like this stuff down here, I have like active and all this other stuff. So the enemy has you completely trapped. There's no way to fight. There's no way out but to fight your way out. And here's what I basically have. I have like the minigun, the energy blaster, and the gravity lance. So looking at these, minigun. Rapid fire bullets make short work of most small craft, but won't make a dent in larger armored ships. The energy blaster. High range energy weapon that does 4 times the damage to shields at any ship, but very little damage to the hulls of most larger ships. Many large structures and turrets have 3 times the take 3 times the normal damage from energy attacks, however. So we'll activate that. And there's a gravity lance which basically fires a lance-like beam that damages any ships or debris in path, including carving through most large ships. Not too effective against most mid-sized ships, however. Only 25% effective against ship hulls. So basically you have a shield buster and like an armor buster. Alright, well, let's get this going. I'm basically going after this guy, so basically that's how, like, this is going to play out. We're going to be like, setting movement and like going after these guys. Alright, so the enemy shields are down. Up until now, you've been attacking the enemy shields, so the best weapon for a job was one that does particularly damage against shields, or which has generally the highest overall damage rate. But now the shields are down, and you're going to be hitting the hull of the ship. So the ideal weapon to use against these enemies probably just changed. Different hulls, different strengths and weaknesses. So basically this guy is now like, time for gravity lance to kill it. There he goes. Well, I killed them both. Alright, well, there's the first one done. And combat. So after you basically have your battles, which basically happens, so contract complete, first battle, escaping from your flagship. So the Kushins lost 10 base power, 28 effective power, and 1 armors in a fight. It took 4 turns. You took a total of like 30,000 shield damage and 0 hull damage. 8 hostile ships participated. You destroyed 2 of the ships. I basically gained 100 credits for killing them. The influence of the infusions dropped because they didn't like me doing all that. This actually took 0.445 solar months, 9 seconds of relative time, and I rescued 6 Kushin pods from escape pods. So basically that's what happens. So Sweet Mother Spaceship, it's a solar map. I'm going to introduce you to this gradually. For now, a lot of stuff is hidden. Don't worry about trying to create the Federation yet. We'll get to that later. It's not even an option yet. Right now, you need to worry about gain credits to spend, and you also need to accumulate a goodly amount of influence with a few races, so I think it's godly or whatever. A humble suggestion is that you start by delivering space learning tech to Scholastian, Andors, or Propulsions, and then run some dispatch missions for them to gain more credit. Your current focus should be on making yourself more powerful and influential, And as you complete missions and political deals, I'll open up more and more ways for you to do that, cultivating the option for you to try and form a fleshy federation. If you want to read this or any of our messages again, just click your logbook. So basically what's happening here, this is basically like the solar system. Right here is the hydro home around. So basically that's, you know, where we used to live. Essentially, Protep watch the sky for any moons you don't recognize. The Christians basically, I guess, conquered it, I guess. And that's sort of worth knowing. Basically, all these different, like, you know, planets have different races on. So, like, the Christians, like, you know, sort of dominate us here, and they, like, live over here. Over here, we've got, like, these other guys. So we got, like, the Polis. That's a Peltian homeworld. We got the Scalaxian homeworld over here. So basically, there's, like, these are all the different races, basically. And none of them are spacefaring yet. Alright, so basically, what it basically suggests to me is that I have to, like, you know, I should probably deliver some spacefaring text to like, you know, these guys or to these guys. I forget who the other guys were. But let's go into these guys. So basically, if I want to, I could try and smuggle in some spacefaring tech for this guy. So let's go there. So feeling friendly, that's the spirit. You're going to form a solar federation, you're going to have to make some friends. So credit is a super important concept. This is your social currency, so to speak. Doing things for races that they appreciate, or in some cases doing things that intimidate a race, gain you more credit. You can then spend credit with almost any race to get them to do what you want, or with mercenaries. Credit is basically money, but it's a little more nuanced than that. But be warned, sometimes there's no friendly actions you can take with a race. You don't have anything to offer them, or they simply hate you too much to accept even need help. This is one of the main reasons that your influence with races is so important. Depending on your actions you take, your influence with races goes up and down. High influence makes them more likely to cooperate, low influence makes them more likely to kill you. Alright, so I basically have like the option of basically, you know, friendly intervention delivering spacefaring tech. That will give me a whole lot of credits for doing so. So, deliver spacefaring tech, computer report. Your race has long possessed the secret of spaceflight, and it's yours to bestow where you will. This race will eventually reach the stars on their own, but granting it to them early will make them very grateful. Not only will you gain a lot of influence with them, but the credit reward from this is huge windfall. The danger posed by space probes is not to be underestimated, however. At first, they just send out little test shots in patterns that when they sense something might be near them. But once they land a hit on you, or you on them, they switch to an extremely dangerous hyper-aggressive mode. Make your way carefully through maze of sensor bullets that they create. So basically, if I do this, I will gain some credits. I will influence these guys to be like, you know, 3-8 and they'll like me. They'll become spacefaring. And if caught, the cushions, they're going to influence with cushions per probe that catches you. Basically, they're going to hit me even more, the imputions. But let's take the action. Alright, so first time delivering technical decrements. Oi! Okay, so stuff just got real, maybe. This is either going to be incredibly easy or impossibly hard, depending on how many races are already spacefaring. Just be careful of alerting those spy probes, and make your way to the drop zone, and that's it. The spy probes for each race will have unique sensor tests, bullet patterns that when they fire, when any foreign object next to yourself is detected nearby. If you get hit by any of those shots, or if you fire on those space probes yourself, the probe involved will be alerted, and you will take a penalty to influence with that race for each probe you alert. The goal is to maneuver cleverly so that you get past the probes without any of them sensing you, or at the very least, with as few as possible sensing you. Early on, when only a couple of races have are spacefaring, you may be able to just waltz over to the drop zone in a couple of easy turns. If that's the case, more power to you. Each one of these gets harder as you go, so enjoy the ease while it lasts. Note that once you alert a spy probe, it turns hostile speeds up and starts unleashing much more damaging attacks. Fight those probes away from your main body, or other unalerted probes if you can, so the straight shots of yours don't wake up anyone else. Alright, so basically I have to get up to the drop zone. I think it's the green X up here. Alright, so your flagship contains a technical documents that can answer the secret to spaceflight. If you can make it to the drop zone and jettison the documents to the planet below, they will become spacefaring immediately. If you are patrolling probes and those test shots hit, you will switch into attack mode. So basically, I need to, avoid these guys. Hold fire. If they aren't to confirm no attack, we're just going to basically move. Okay, so that's where I need to go. Alright, so how do I do this? So these guys are firing test shots, I guess. Try and find me. So flagship power management unlocked. I swear it's the last time I'll interrupt you during a battle, but now you're getting a few turns in. There's one more bit of you probably ought to know. It's time to give you direct control over power distribution into your free subsystems. So yeah, you can basically power up your subsystem in this game. Increase the power to your weapons gives you higher damage output as well as longer range. Increase power to your shields give you a faster shield barrier, making your shields more resistant to shots that hit them. Increase power to engines give you faster movement, better turning arcs, and a preferred distance you can move per turn. So that's probably important right now, engines. To set the power levels, just click the various bars or use hotkeys. There are instructions in the tool steps, however, during each turn your ships automatically change power based on context. Let's suppose you don't issue a movement order. Well, diverts engine power to weapons or shields instead. Not attacking diverts the shields, etc. This keeps you from needing to fiddle with it with mild adjustments. Basically, if you don't attack anything, it won't, power up your weapons. Automatic management does not make manual management pointless. Consider I'm on low health, so I'm going to crank up my shields for a while at the expense of I need to be able to maneuver very carefully here, so I'm willing to sacrifice. I'm so OP here. Let's get this over quickly. Nothing to shields, all the weapons. Let's go, and so on. These sorts of larger decisions are a point of the power system, not moment fiddling. So what was that? What was that about better turning arcs with different engine parallels? Well, let's see for yourself. At the default levels, which is all you've had until now, you've moved pretty well. But you can move super precisely if you crank all the way up. You can barely move or turn if you crank all the way down. So basically, that's the default, that's full, and that's just crap. Hey, how the heck did you do circulating? What points? Simply hold down Shift key while issuing movement orders. You'll lose a little speed with each curved waypoint, so your total distance goes down a bit for your information. Are you feeling a little overwhelmed with this info? Sorry about that, but you do not have to memorize it. You can review it anytime, blah blah. So if I want to, I can go and adjust this. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to bump it all into engines right now. I'm just going to go this way, I think. I'm going to try and get around these guys. So early on, it's easy enough to avoid these guys. And there we go. Positive suggestion with technical documents. So basically, I suggested the documents, no one detected me.
The Skylaxians are now spacefaring.
And
they are an advanced species and disapprove of your race's past actions. However, they may just be the key to forming a federation, as their powers of persuasion over the other races are non-trivial.
Alright, so there we go. Skylaxians are now spacefaring. So basically, your goal here is to sort of influence the various star systems and try and get them on your side so you can get a federation. So basically I got these guys in my pocket, so to speak. So we're happy to join the party, second to arrive, in space is no shame. So, the remains of a Hydromenace thinks is still running a show. We're happy to join the party so I can arrive into space, it's no shame. So there's like, you know, those guys that, you know, are my enemies, so to speak, and then we got these guys who just made happy. Alright, now if I want to, I can actually go in here, I can actually do our missions, so, I can try and improve relations with our race. I can try and gain credits, but, like, you know, assist with farm construction. Help destroy a pirate base, that's another way to gain credits. I can hire goons, I guess, hire construction workers import from black market, or hire scientists import from black market. Different stuff you can do. Let's see here. I'm tempted to go to this guy and try and get him spacefaring, perhaps. So let's try doing this. Now, note by the way that I'm not just going against like the Executions now, I've got the other guys too. So I've got two basically going after this. That'll make it a little bit more difficult. As you can see, they got different patterns and such. It's pretty cute to stay put for a moment. Alright, what's the best way of doing this? Maybe they come from this direction, perhaps? And by the way, yeah, I can do like the waypoint thing. Waypoints. Whee! Oh, this is gonna suck. I'm probably gonna have to trigger this, you know, here, so. Someone probably detected me. Probably the Executions. I took a little bit of shield damage, but whatever.
The Peltians are now spacefaring. They are soft and weak. However, they have a penchant for blowing things up from orbit. They may be easy allies to win over.
Alright, so here's, hey, there's a new tech progress button under your basic info tab on the solar map. It shows you what technologies you and all the other races have researched, blah blah. So basically I can see technologies and such. So this is how this game works. Basically, a tutorial basically unlocks stuff for you as you go along. And basically it doesn't like, you know, try to throw you in head over first with like nothing to go on. It just gives you it like slowly. So there's nothing super complicated about the concept of technologies. Once you or a race of a check mark in your column on the tech progress screen, that's it. You know the technology and you get whatever benefits it confers. So right now the Executions, they have space-powered medical computers, I think. Maybe we just have these things down here. But anyways, here's like all the different races. There's me, I guess. I think that's the Hydrils. Yeah, I'm the Hydrils here, I think. So there's lots of different kinds of technologies. Some benefit your flagship directly, and those ones are grouped at the top of your space tech grids. Basically, they're all the ones that benefit me right away. These typically do things like increase your hull strength, improve your science, or manufacturing skills, etc. A lot of them have no direct benefit to you. You're not a planetary power, so you don't need to need things like safer nuclear power, for instance. But these technologies are of immense value to your allies and enemies. Help your allies get what they need, and you'll be that much closer to forming the Federation. Don't underrate the power of science. If a race gets far ahead in the number of techs they have learned, they can absolutely dominate enemy races that have much larger fleets. This takes quite a while, though, so having large fleets in the meantime is a plus. How do you fit in? Well, there's now research technology dispatch missions that you can take on most planets and in the black market. You can also research technology on your own, or learn technologies from races that already know them. Once you get access to the black market, hiring scientist goons will let you make super time-consuming techs take reasonable amounts of time. And lastly, under hostile actions for each race, you can now raid for technology to steal what you need. To do this, you first have to recruit an informant, which is your general link into the criminal underworld of each race, except the Andors or fractions who have no criminals for different reasons. One way or another, you need to get tech. Alright, so here's what happened. The Pelshers began space clearing, and now they like me. And because the Cutions caught me, I actually got basically a reduced influence there as a result. Now they really don't like me all that much. But on the bright side, now there's two spacefaring guys here. So let's see here. Alright, made it into space. Would have been a hoot to beat out the rest of you folks, but we'll take what we get at this point. Everyone else may be surprised, but we knew all along the Pelshers would boast our system's premier military force. And we've got these guys. The rest of our elections are in. The latest Skull Action Senate is now in session. And I'm proud to take on the heavy leadership role speaker, blah blah. So basically, these are things that pop up constantly, these messages. Alright, so if I want to, I can go in here and, we can do stuff. I can give technology, I can, research technology. Let's see here. I got lots of credits to spend. I should really be spending them on something. So, I can hire these guys. So researching new technologies can be a very time-consuming task. That's why it's hard, even for large interplanetary governments. If you want to be able to help directly research some stuff, as opposed to just stealing it from governments all the time, you'll need some help. A lot of help. In fact, you don't have much choice but to find a sponsor race that will share the burden and reward of your research. Even then, they won't throw all the research capacity into your project, and many technologies may remain out beyond your grasp. So at the black market, you can hire scientists to assist you in your research projects. Each scientist that you have shaves at least 1 month increased by your science techs and science outputs off your next tech research, and then is released from his or her contract. Once the tech's research time is reduced to 1 month, no further scientists are applied for release, and scientists will hang around until you need them, but there's no reason to hire any unless you plan on researching some technology. Technologies that seem impossibly out of reach typically require two things to achieve: a better science rating on your part for the science type tech upgrades, and then scientist goons. Hiring some scientist outputs doesn't hurt either, so it'll basically cost me 1,000 credits, but you will gain 1 temporary contract scientist. Each saves 1 month on tech research. And basically, if you want to, I can get a whole bunch of qualities here, so I can get 5. Let's execute this deal. So spend 5,000 credits. I basically have 5. Each will use stuff for 1 month. Alright, so tech progress. So 141 techs are unavailable because it's only year 3000. More will open as time passes. So here's all the techs that these guys are at. So some technologies I guess aren't valid for some races, and then some technologies are already researched by some races. So this isn't useful to me, but I can apparently gift it to someone. So that's good. Some stuff is worth gifting. Some stuff, is just whatever. All right. Well, let's look at some of this other stuff. So we have racial power grid, which basically tells you a little bit about what is going on. So right now, everyone has their own 1 planets. Decryption apparently have 1 outpost because they have to destroy hydro planets. Apparently these guys have the most techs, and these guys have the most techs. And there's these guys down here. Ooh, one of these guys has lots of techs. That's good. These guys I helped first, which is good, and these guys I also helped, but they're crappy. So this is how powerful these guys are. So these guys, I guess, are technically the most powerful, perhaps. Or maybe they aren't. Maybe these guys are the most powerful. I wonder why these guys are the most powerful. Whatever. Alright, computer advice, what do you say? Provide CD device for your computer who wishes to pass along a message. Zark at Hydral, it's a computer, not an admiral. Nevertheless, her advice is generally solid. For more nuanced strategies involving many steps and intrigues, you'll have to rely on your own brave matter, but this advice is currently starting forward for changes the situation involves, so let's see what it says. Solar map pauses when you're in menus. Just a friendly note, because I suspect you might be a paranoid type, you don't need to hit pause before going to menus, any menus. The solar map stops while you're not looking at. Alright, so top 3 suggested allies. These are that are not already in the Federation. So basically, these guys are what they suggest I be, like, you know, my allies. And the top 3 powers outside of Federation are these guys. So I already got like 2 of these guys, you know, basically like me. To keep on that. So let's see here. So I guess we're paused right now. How's the race relations, I guess? So I'll note that, by the way, the race relations sort of like change as time goes by. So with me here, the Acutians really don't like me. The Pelishans and these classes like me, and everyone else is neutral to me. If I like go over like say like the Acutians though, they're apparently disgusted toward me. They're neutral toward everyone else more or less. The Scalaxans, they're apparently acquainted with the Acutians, they're acquainted with the Boran, and they're sort of aloof from everyone else. The Boran are sort of aloof and blah blah blah. Wow, the Brillas really don't like anyone. Alright, let's see here. What can I do next? I guess we'll go here, have a look around. So, let's see here. I'm gonna hire a bunch of scientists with this guy. And something else I think I should probably show off is like a pirate mission, I guess. So, computer report, the locals have had enough of the pirate missions. If you have at least 0 influence with them, and they're willing to work with you, it can help lead them to the pirates' home base. Basically, if I want to, I can try and blow up pirates. Let's do it. Alright, so playing with allies against enemies. Hey, you have some allies! Or at least some folks that are neutral to you. Either way, they don't want to shoot you during the battle. Regardless of relations outside of battles, when there are multiple parties in a particular fight, everyone who has specific stances against everyone else, allied, enemy, or neutral. On the bottom left of your screen, you will see blue colored indicators showing which races are allied against you, which are neutral, and which are enemies. You can hover over them for more information. This is how each of them feels about other races involved in battle. Just because 2 races both hate you doesn't mean they aren't also at war with one another. So it's possible if like there's 2 guys on this, you know, on this map, if they hate each other, they might go like after each other, even though like me. Say the solar map obviously has a big impact on how everyone lines up here, but so does context. Even if a race normally dislikes you, if you offer to help them fight off attackers, they'll be your ally for the duration of the fight. Why don't you gift Squid and Technos or whatever? Okay. So we got these guys up here, they're apparently Skylaxians. And of course they like me somewhat. These guys down here. Apparently got Acutians over here. Down here I've got the pirates. Well, let's go deal with the pirates, I guess. There's an auto fire. Okay, ow. Let's go like this, I guess. We're just gonna charge in, I guess, and just start doing damage. See how this goes. I don't really need the engines as much, so let's boost up our shields. Now we're just gonna sit here and sort of, clown around. So how do I select stuff? I probably select his ships. Alright, there goes one of the turrets. This destroy all base enclosures, 5 remaining. Alright, let's do this a little bit. I want to have some turning speed. Now I have to watch it. I do have so much shields and such, so eventually this will run out. And it's a very colorful screen, isn't it? Alright, my shields are actually taking a beating here. But I have almost destroyed this guy, so that's good. Alright, that's gone. 4 remaining. Alright, you know what? Let's actually just go out this way. I'm going to put this on. I'm just going to auto fire. Alright, so let's see, what's the best way of doing this, I guess, at this point. I think that's actually something coming to attack me there, so... Alright, that's actually something to fight, so let's actually go after it. Oh, that's gonna hurt my shields going through that, but whatever. Okay, this guy's shields down. We'll go here, I'll fire the gravity lance at it. This guy's almost dead, that's cool. So there goes that guy. Let's charge this thing right here. I'm just gonna actually try and push this, get all the way in here, I think. Just fly right in. Alright, that got me in. So sit around and start pulverizing this, I think. Go here, go here. So we'll sit around and start, popping this thing down. There it goes. So I got that out of the way. These look like big giant missiles coming after me. Now, if possible, I want to try and get in here, I think, so... I'm going to try to boost right up to here. Alright, so that's cool. Let's kill my engines. Boost up this stuff and start firing. Q. I actually went to the wrong space there. Kept moving. That's out of the way. Now my shields are taking a beating. Or I'll sit here and just keep firing. So that's done. Now I just have to get over this one. So we. Okay, this is basically what the game's all about. You have the like space battles and like have like, you know, your arc and goal is trying to like, you know, form the Federation. And there we go. Pirates are dead. Alright, so the Cution pirate base was destroyed. That apparently improved my relationship with everyone quite a bit, except the Cutions who, you know, were like, whatever.
The Thraxians are now spacefaring. Searching dictionary for a phrase more urgent than extreme danger.
Alright, so stuff I note here.
Imminent doom is today's advisory.
Stuff I know is that eventually races can become spacefaring by themselves, and apparently the fractions just became spacefaring, so these guys are now spacefaring. So, never mind the idiotic race to the stars. Now that we've made it this far, the possibilities are exhilarating. So basically, these guys are now in space, and they did that without my help. So I didn't actually get any influence, you know, increase with them because I didn't really help them. So that kind of sucks, but oh well. These guys are now spacefaring. And if we look at the power grid, or not that one. So the fractions I think are like now like, you know, the top power. They got the, you know, huge power over like the other guys now. Go reach the power grid. Yeah, there's like their power. So they got 4 Armadas, they got all those spaceships. So they're, you know, they're basically pretty powerful, these guys now. Alright, so I think at this point I sort of jabbered on enough. This is basically what the game sort of devolved into. And like, you know, basically you have to sort of manage, like, you know, you have to play off each of the races against each other to try and, like, you know, get like one guy to like you and one guy to hate you, and get what you can to basically get all these guys, like, you know, into a federation. Alright, let's just sort of save the game. We'll just call this Easy Let's. And that'll basically be it. So, I'll just throw some thoughts about this game. I actually think it's like a really interesting concept for a game. Essentially, you aren't like, you know, directly controlling like your own like sort of like, you know, faction in like the traditional 4X style. You're sort of like a passive observer. It's sort of like, you know, plays like a god. Yeah, it can be killed. That's pretty much what you are. You're like a god that can be killed, and like, you know, you're just trying to manipulate the universe as you will, to like your liking. Anyhow, I'm not sure if I'll be, you know, coming back to this game or not, but it's an interesting one nonetheless. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and perhaps I'll have more showcases for you in the future. Take care.